Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Saving Often. This is part 4 of Space Quest 6, The Spinal Frontier. In our last part, we went rogue. We found out that Stellar Santiago is still alive. I know, right? She's still alive, and nobody believes us. Commander Kilbasa will not turn this ship around and go save her, so Roger kind of takes it upon himself that, if nobody's going to save my friend Stellar, who saved me multiple times, I will just do it my damn self. So, as such, we broke some StarCon rules and regulations. We learned the vulgar nerve pinch from the holodeck, and we used it to beat up a security guard, which got us thrown in prison. But hey, that's okay. We made a Roger Wilco dummy out of a rack of Orat and several other vegetables. Got out of prison and tried that trick again after morphing the big security guard. That is where we are now. We took off in the shuttle. Commander Kilbasa sent us a message urging us to turn around and threatening action against us, but Roger is not having any of that. And then we flew into an anti-anomaly, got ourselves more or less lost in space, and we find ourselves here, floating in a tin can. Let's take a look around here. We have this button on our dashboard that is now flashing.
This button activates the manual override state. It is effective only while in flight.
Swell. There's not enough power to restart the engines.
And our engines are dead.
The power is not currently on.
Well, it looks like we're going to need this manual override.
Sir, I am unable to access the navigational computer. I am guessing that it may have overloaded just as the divalium crystal somehow went offline. Once repairs have been made and the shuttle engines have been refired, I believe I can follow the deep ship's ion trail back to Delta Berxilon 5.
That would be quite cool, Manuel. You sure about that?
Once the divalium crystal has been repaired, our electrical system reestablished, and the engines fired, I am 97.2% certain.
Why only 97.2%?
I judged 97.2% to sound more hip to our audience than would 100. You would have to mention it.
Sorry.
Don't apologize to me. It's the players you ruined it for.
Well, we're going to need to fix that divalium crystal. So we have these panels over here along this wall, and I believe these are the things that we will need to get out, both to get out into space and do some repairs on our shuttle, and also to take care of this power issue that we're having.
This compartment contains the divalium crystal subprocessor and main flux coupling.
Now, that sounds like exactly what we want.
Wow. The crystal seems to have broken. I swear it wasn't me.
Now we're in deep.
Hey, I've gotten us this far, haven't I?
Yes, and what a wonderful place it is. How did I get hooked up in this deal? My agent's going to be hearing from me big time.
All right, so the crystal has been damaged.
It feels nice.
Good. So we pulled this little piece of divalium crystal out of our data quarter.
It's a piece of divalium crystal.
And that's going to be what we need to pop it in there. So certainly we can just slap it on.
It would appear that merging those two items is not a good idea.
Okay, so instead we're just going to get a generic error message. Here I was trying to toss one up for the game to tell me why I was wrong and what I actually needed to do here. But if you're just going to give me a generic error message, then I'm just going to tell the people watching this that you need to use the glue on the crystal.
You pour glue all over the crystal.
And now...
I guess the divalium crystal won't work in this form. Fortunately, I have vast experience in the reforming of broken items.
It's no wonder. You've had to repair a lot of stuff you've broken in your time. the word clod comes to mind.
I guess the divalium crystal won't work in this form.
It's no...
Okay.
It's...
Well, I thought that was the solution. I swear that should be the solution. Okay, well, I guess we'll come back to that later. What's in here?
Don't screw with a pattern buffer array. If you get messed up during teleportation, it can unscramble you.
Your whimper is my command, sir.
I wonder if Manuel has anything else to say to us.
I am here to serve you, sir. Sir, we are unable to proceed with the divalium crystal offline, a lack of power to restart the engines, and with a potential engine blockage.
Okay, so we have three things to take care of. The crystal, the power that's offline, and something blocking our engines. If I were to open this door...
EVA suits weren't designed just as a fashion statement, Roger.
Nah, it gets sucked straight out into space. That's why we need to use the EVA suit. Glad they make me do all of this manually. All right, now let's head out.
The unfilled hollow of space is now just a fabric's thickness away. You forgot just how much more spectacular the view is from outside. You won't find anything like this in any oxygen-filled environment, except maybe for that small vacuous chamber barely holding your ears apart.
Man.
What's with this fish deal? Now one stuck in the engine intake.
Hey, it's our fish. Cool. We got it back. Excellent.
It's the shuttle's trunk. It opens from the inside.
So we can get into our trunk if we go back into the shuttle. There we go.
You neatly replace the EVA suit in its proper place.
And let's pop that trunk. And
I am here to serve you, sir.
Grab the hood while we're at it.
You pull the handle and hear something release on the outside of the shuttle.
All right. Now, let's go outside.
It's a help sign. These are the shuttle's jumper cables. That sure doesn't make you feel real secure about this spacecraft if those are standard equipment.
Well, you never know when you're going to need a jump. Okay, so now we have jumper cables and a big help sign. So let's put up the help sign and see what we can get.
Hello, sweetheart. You look like you could use a little assistance. Is there anything I can do?
Well, yes, there is. Thanks for stopping.
Well, you just name it, I guess.
It seems I've stalled my engines. Could you give me a jump? I have cables.
I'd jump you in a heartbeat, dollface. I guess you must have got caught up in that anti-anomaly. They can be a real pain in the... Well, anyway, let's get it done.
Well, here's your end of the cables.
I'll let you know when I'm all hooked up. Contact!
Okay, so now we need to attach these jumper cables to our engine. And if you recall, we got a safety recall notice here.
It's the recall notice for the owner's manual. It reads, "Dear Ham Shuttle Owner."
So, when jumping the 1000 series, please match the positive cable end with the field goal pole, and the negative cable end with the O pole. So I guess we'll assume that the red cable is the positive cable, and we'll go ahead and slap her on. And now we've got a blue cable as well, so let's throw it on the O.
Okay, Manuel. We're all hooked up. Give it a try.
Bye-bye, Sugar Bunny. I gotta be running along.
Hey, thanks for stopping to help me.
See ya.
Okay, so we got the blockage out, we've restored power to the engine. Now we're just going to deal with this divalium crystal.
You neatly replace the EVA suit in its proper place.
Now I have this crystal with glue all over it.
I guess the divalium crystal won't work in this form.
It's no wonder.
You're still telling me it's not going to work, so I've clearly missed something. Oh, you know what it is? Of course. Of course. How did I forget? You have to put glue on both the piece and where it's going. That's how glue works.
You hold the glue-coated segment to the broken divalium crystal for 10 seconds to set the glue.
Okay, well.
All appears well in the crystal compartment.
Hey. So it goes. We solved that.
Good work, sir. I believe I can now follow the ion trail of Deep Ship 86 back to Delta Berxalon 5.
Well, we have power.
What may I do for you, sir?
Nice. Okay, well, here we are back at Delta Berxalon. Last time we were here, Sharpay tried to murder us. Let's see what we can learn. Back in the elevator. Love this place. What's in the quarters? Can we even get into the quarters?
You're far too much of a wuss to pry open the portal doors.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Okay. Well, let's head down to the lab.
Wow, a mad scientist working on a planet called Delta Berxalon. You wonder what he's doing here? Designing women, perhaps? Sorry? It's Dr. Beleauxs, Delta Berxalon's token evil scientist.
Well, let's see what he has to say for himself.
Hello, Doctor.
Janitor Wilco? What in blazes are you doing here?
Well, Doc, I got a distress call.
So why are you here?
Because I know it originated here. In fact, it was from Stellar Santiago.
You're out of your mind, Wilco. Now go away and leave me alone. I've got important work to do. Goodbye.
I know something's up here, Doc, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. You'll be sorry, pal.
Yes, whatever you say, Wilco. Just get out of my face.
Well, he certainly wasn't very helpful. Let's take a look around this lab.
Gee, Dad, it's a North Gateway with 5 gigabytes of RAM, a molecular memory hard disk with infinite capacity, a dodecaspeed CD-ROM drive, microsloth-compatible mouse, and a built-in 10K pin laser printer. Just 3 more gigabytes and you can install OS 2 on it.
I love how 90s depictions, especially like in Space Quest, of futuristic technology is always just like a ridiculous amount of kilobytes or megabytes or gigabytes, in this case gigabytes. It's always these like ridiculous, exponential increases in numbers, but they still have things like a CD-ROM drive.
It's a monitor. You've seen one before. In fact, you're seeing 2 right now. I think it's a damn box. There's a nice variety of books on the doctor's shelf. The Hidden Life of Orats. What they don't teach you at StarCon Academy. All I need to know I learned from the Q Continuum.
Oh, really?
And the hunt for red corpuscle.
I mean, you would learn a lot from Q.
Hey, they've got their own multiband UV wave bath straight out of the Ed Mundane catalog. A couple of Bunsen burners sit on the counter. This is the only piece of equipment in the lab that's totally unfamiliar to you. It appears biomechanical in nature with a metallic skin that seems to expand and contract slightly. You're not sure whether to turn it on, turn it off, open it, close it, disassemble it, pet it, wear it, whip up a batch of margaritas in it, launch it, or clean it. So in your decisive way, you do nothing with it.
That's probably smart. Wonder if we can use this computer.
It's a monitor. It looks like a cyberjack plug receptor.
A cyberjack plug receptor. Now, didn't Stellar say that we should try to obtain one of those so that we could look into Nigel Rancid? Interesting.
It's just an old-fashioned disk drive. As indicated in the picture, it's a power button. It's a
Accounting, research, communications, or cyber functions. Let's check accounting. All accounting functions are currently down due to blah, 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 blah. Thank you for your patience in this matter.
These aren't online yet. Apparently budget isn't a big concern here.
How about research? All research functions are down until further notice due to insufficient funding. Talk to your local congressperson to complain.
Ah, who wants to look at boring old research records? Try something else.
How about communications? Plodigy. This takes me back.
After a click of the screen button, Plodigy begins to painfully, slowly fill the screen. Oh, screw it! Even you don't have the time or patience for this.
Man, so Prodigy was one of the early online. I don't even want to say it wasn't an ISP, but one of the ways that you'd access the internet, the early internet in the early 90s. I remember when I was very little. I was probably 6 years old when we got our modem and we had access to Prodigy. And oh my God, that the time that I spent on the Sesame Street page and going through some of the old Prodigy games and things that they had on there. It's a shame because there are, and I'm going to go on a tangent here for a second, but I don't care. There are projects out there to try to recreate Prodigy based off of old discs and whatnot and try to pull as many resources as they can to kind of like, sort of like a museum. I don't want to say a museum, but I don't know. I'm stumbling over my words here. They're trying to preserve some of our digital history by recreating Prodigy screens, and seeing those always just fills me with so much nostalgia. Because I remember it clear as day, but sadly it's just not something that you can go back to easily, or I guess at all, in this day and age. Truly one of the things that, early on there wasn't any need or any foresight into preserving digital artifacts like that. So unfortunately, early Prodigy, probably early America Online, etc., is more or less lost to time. But that's where Space Quest 6 really takes me back. And as we're going to see here, whenever we do get into cyberspace, we were right on the cusp of the internet, of the information age. So there's a lot of forward thinking in this game, and so on and so forth. I'm really getting off of the point here. Let's go to cyber functions. Insert cyberspace jack now. Oh, we don't have one. So that's all that we can do with this computer. Something on this desk intrigues me, though.
It's just techie stuff. There is a Callahan Moddy here. Seems you remember talking about those things to someone recently.
A Moddy, huh?
You've heard of black boxes, haven't you? Well, this one's red. It's just techie. It appears to be a Callahan Moddy.
Well, let's grab it.
You take possession of the Callahan Moddy. It appears to be an old 1586 circuit board. Oh, that's right. You're not supposed to be a techie. We hope we didn't confuse you. It's just an old beat-up chip. It feels like...
Okay, well, we have this Moddy now.
It's the Callahan Moddy you scavenged from Delta Berksalon.
And as I recall, Fester Blatz was real interested in these. If only we could pay him a visit. Anyway, that's about all that we can do here for now. I wonder what's in Lab B.
You press the Lab B button, but the Ascendo pad doesn't move. Apparently you need some sort of clearance to get to Lab B.
So it won't open. I didn't want to go to Lab B anyway.
Yeah, neither did I. Let's go back to the docking bay. So it seems that we can really only go to Lab A here, but that's all that we really need at the moment. What I'd like to do is find a way to get back to polysorbate 60. Because Fester Blatz had an interest in moddies, and I bet we could get something good from him in exchange for this.
Sir, I believe I may be able to tap myself into the PTS and perform a limited set of functions.
PTS?
Yes, sir. PTS, the Photo Triangulation System. It was installed as a crude backup navigational device to the modern navigational computer system. It's what you see before you mount it in the middle view screen.
This is the Photo Triangulation System unit. It houses the optics as well as the print recorder and ejector.
Well, that sounds like an interesting theory.
Your whimper.
That's delightful.
But how do we use it? Photo Triangulation System online. System marginal. 2 photographs remaining. Well, we'll take a photo of the stars. And hell, we'll take another photo of the stars.
This is the photo taken with the Photo Triangulation System. This is the second PTS photo. It has yet to be peeled apart.
Well, I guess that we have to peel one apart then.
You peel apart the photo and negative from the second PTS image.
Okay. Now we have a photo and a negative.
It's the negative from the second PTS image. This is the second photo positive.
Well, can we do the same thing with the first?
You peel apart the photo and negative from your first PTS image.
I have no idea how this is actually supposed to work, or how you're supposed to figure out that this works. But I remember the solution, which is to take these photos. I think that you had to put the negative from one. Yeah.
The PTS is online and working. We can now launch to polysorbate.
Excellent. Yeah, again, I have no idea why that is. I don't know if it explains it anywhere.
This is the main... This is the...
But yeah, we I guess that you combine a positive and a negative photos of the stars, and that... I'm sure it makes sense to somebody somewhere. Didn't make any sense to me, though. Anyway, now we can go to polysorbate. Cool. We can go to Delta Berksalon, or we can go to polysorbate. So let's head off back to the surface of polysorbate 60, where we haven't been since the beginning of Space Quest 6. I wonder if they ever cleaned up the bar.
What may I do for you, sir?
Beam me down, Manny.
Step over to the transport pad and I will beam you down to the surface of polysorbate.
Manuel tosses you a transport signaler.
You can only use this from the place I beam you to.
Oh, it's so good to be back. Back here on polysorbate 60. Oh, Orion's belt has been boarded up.
Seems the Endrodroid's last visit has caused a permanent change of hours for this establishment. Like none.
Glad to see the arcade is still open. I don't really want want to go in there, though. There's nothing to do. Stooge Fighter kind of sucks. Hey, the Dew Beam Inn. Let's see if this guy has anything to say to us.
I'm sure he'd like that, but you'd better hang on to what you've got. You never know when you'll need it.
I can't talk to him?
He seems to be ignoring you.
That's a shame. I was kind of hoping for some dialogue there. Since, you know, last time we were here, a couple of his clients, tenants, etc., kidnapped us after beating us up in the hallway, and we had to reform a data corridor to get off of here. Anyway, let's see what Fester's up to.
Go ahead and look around, partner. I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have about my fine line of merchandise. Yes, sirree, have a look.
Well, let's offer him this Callahan Mahdi.
Hello there, Mr. Blatz. I think I have something you might be interested in.
Think so, hey?
Oh, I really think you'll find it interesting.
Ooh! Why, I'd love to take that off your hands. Of course, you realize that it's illegal to sell those, but I could trade you for something. Look around and see what interests you.
I could really use a cyberspace jack.
Tell you what, I'll trade you for one of those fine specimens in the case. What do you say?
No, I want the jack or it's no deal.
Oh, now take it easy, Sonny. I think we can do business.
I'm glad you see it my way. It's been a pleasure. Take care, Fester. I gotta fly.
Cool. Well, there's our cyberspace jack. The cinema's now playing Space Quest 4, Roger Wilco and the Time Rippers. Of course it is.
That's the cyberspace jack.
Well, let's head back up. And head back to Delta Berksalon.
Then the Galactican said, if I did have hover capabilities, I wouldn't need the cleft snorter. Ah, excuse me, sir. How may I enhance your efforts?
How may I enhance your efforts? I like that. I do love the rudimentary understanding of the concept of cyberspace, still very much from, you know, William Gibson novels and the like. We are going to take a trip into cyberspace, the Information Superhighway to be exact, and it's really fun seeing the early 90s interpretation of what the internet is. Well, let's head back to Lab A. Does the doctor have anything to say to us now?
You know, he's a bit ticked at you. I'd leave him alone unless you've got something really important to bug him about.
Well, alright, we'll just use his computer and hope he doesn't mind. I'm going to save my game as cyberspace. And let's jack in.
That's an interesting idea.
Like I said, let's not jack in. Let's hit the cyber functions button first. Okay, let's jack in.
Talk about a brave new world. You'd better be up for it if you plan to explore this cyber terrain. This cyber terrain is just a little arid. It's just more evidence to confirm the old adage that if there's time enough to do it, there's time enough to do it half-assed. Talk about a brave... That's quite a leap. You'd be able to clear it if you could get a running start, but you can't run in this game, only walk. In this space quest, you can't switch to sprint.
But you could in Space Quest 5. Kind of. Yeah, this is the Information Superhighway.
Talk about a... Not even cyberspace is immune from the mentally deficient types who shoot at road signs. How macho they must think they are. Cool. Cyber cacti. Talk about a brave... This...
Can I die in cyberspace?
Whoops.
Guess you're about to find out if there's cyber gravity. Apparently it does exist. As you plummet to your cyber death, you are confronted by a variant of an age-old question. If you fall and hit the ground within cyberspace, and no one is there to hear it, will you make an audible splat? Yep. Smooth move, X-Lax. Guess this cyberspace thing can be pretty painful, and I'm not just talking about the rates.
All right. So that being said, let's head this way. I wonder how much of this is commentary, designer commentary on the internet as it was known in the early 90s. Oh, I love this gag.
Hey, free birdseed, and so conveniently placed under a huge boulder, too. Forget it, you don't resemble that bird. Well, except for the pin feathers in those chicken legs of yours.
I'm trying to decide if they were implying that by the far-flung future that this whole cyberspace thing would be abandoned. Judging by the arid desert and the long, complicated, winding passageways, as if to say, this whole thing is too complicated and it's not worth anybody's time. Why are they doing it? In the future, this is going to be meaningless. Well, I don't think that's happening. Is judging by the fact that I'm literally recording myself playing this game so that I can use the internet to upload it so anybody can watch me playing this game. A concept that I thought of as a kid, actually. We were watching some movie in first grade about, I think it was Alexander and the No Good, Very Bad Something Something Day. And when my teacher mentioned that we were watching a movie starring somebody called Alexander, I was kind of hoping that it would just be somebody playing King's Quest VI. But I thought, no, that's silly. Watching a video of somebody playing an adventure game, who would do that? Well, I ask you, dear viewer, who would do that?
That's cool. For those of you who aren't paying attention, that's a stop sign. It's an office sign.
I love that I just got points for following the path. This wasn't even a maze. It was just one straight path. But I got points for it. I'll take it.
The sign says it all. There was much talk and rhetoric about the Information Superhighway, but the executive and legislative branches seem quite opposed to getting together on just about anything either one of them introduces. Just look at the space program. Anyway, the frustration of a former employee is documented in the amendments to the opens date.
So, was the commentary that this was pointless, or was it that nobody would ever be able to figure out how to get it done? Yeah, I don't know.
A rag hangs from the sawhorse. Who knows what it last wiped up? Don't pick at it. The Port Ahead by Schroed Johns Incorporated stands silently waiting to make its designated collection of organic waste products. Oh, mama, I'm guessing one too many burritos for the last guy in here.
I can't take anything from in there?
Oh,
Guess not.
A carelessly discarded bucket of building material has been spilled and allowed to harden.
Well, let's head into the office. And this is one of the most memorable scenes in all of Space Quest for me. I still love this. A reproduction of Windows 3.1.
You saw it here first. A preview of the famed Information Superhighway. Wow. It looks like some poor slob actually waited for his number to be called and died for his troubles.
Next.
Looks like a programmer just prior to shipping. That wouldn't prove. You summon the
I
ability.
can't click on anything?
Ah, that's the thing about cyberspace. We don't have to let you close windows. We control your picture. That's delightful. It wouldn't be.
I can't do anything up there.
Don't touch that. That wouldn't prove.
Can't do anything anywhere.
You virtually eat the nearly real mint. Your virtual breath is now virtually minty fresh.
Let's talk to Sys Inny.
Does your number match the one shown by the counter?
No, I don't seem to have that one, but...
Oh, I am sorry, sir. Strangely enough, there's no provision for buts in this system. You either have the number shown or you do not. Now, please await the calling of your number. Thank you very much. I have important things to do. Next.
This whole scene seems so ahead of its time. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we're seeing in games these days. You know, taking a look at things from strange perspectives and what have you. Let's take a number. Can I take another number?
Don't pick at.
No, it just won't let me. Well, there's my number.
It's the number 3 card you took from the card dispenser.
I have a number and my number is 3. Awesome. What can I poke around with here?
Just what do you think you're doing, sir?
Well, I didn't think you'd mind if I just looked through your files.
And I thought I'd seen it all. Just step back and wait your turn.
You may just have improved your chances of getting to the files with that slick little maneuver. Sometimes you do surprise me, Roger.
So I can't get into the files.
Just
Well,
and I.
You may.
Does your number match the one shown by the counter?
no,
Oh, I now.
Can't
Next.
just give her the 3. Let's see what we've got up here. The screen savior
That's delightfully.
doesn't do anything. Can I look at it?
Look, they even plan to have screensavers. A good idea for when those lines are all tied up. Who says they aren't thinking ahead?
There's a fan.
A darling little fan icon decorates the accessories program group.
I think I can turn it on.
You summon the ability.
Okay, it turns itself off.
That's a clock icon. Very tidy. A trash can. That might be a perfect place to store all those vital screen-saving programs like that cool Yasser Arafat version you've downloaded from POL. Pardon me, but I'm just a little nervous about this trash can thing. Didn't someone already go to court and spend wads of buckazoids over this?
Gary! Just read the copy, for Christ's sakes. We're not paying you to think. We just want that pretty voice of yours. All right, you friggin' union geek. Okay, people. Mr. Owens has gathered himself together, and we are ready to pick it up from that oh-so-fascinating Barney Fife meets Perry Mason segue. All right. Animation to speed. And roll.
Next.
All right. There's a radio here, too.
Although just a false front icon, it holds the promise of a tomorrow where true plug-and-play AM radio is no longer just a dream.
Now, if I recall, if we hit the hand icon on the radio, we will hear the Mr. Soylent jingle, which originally played, I think, in the Space Quest 6 demo whenever you'd use the Mr. Soylent food replicator back in the Deep Ship 86. And I love this little jingle. It gets stuck in my head far more often than I'd like to admit. So let's have a listen.
This world's a great big ball of dirt with 50 billion souls who like to sit around and veg down in the dark like moles. But me, I'm just the kind of girl who loves the open air and bits of unburned hydrocarbons blowing through my hair. New soil and clear, at last it's here with clearly better taste.
Next.
Less people too, like me and you, and less reprocessed waste. More hearty crunch for snacks or lunch, it's crystal clear to see. New soil and clear, the last frontier for folks like you and me. New soil and clear, clearly less people, clearly more taste.
Oh, how I love that.
That's the refreshments folder. Don't be looking for your father's Playboys in here either. You summon the... That's del...
Okay, I can't use either of those. So, what can we do? Well, not much of anything at the moment. Waiting for our number to be called. Let's step out. The Windows sound. There's a pixel that we forgot to hunt, and that pixel is right over here, this little screwdriver.
A screwdriver lies on the ground, probably discarded by the malcontent who vandalized the sign.
How could we miss that? Let's grab it. All right, we now have a screwdriver.
It's the screwdriver you found outside the cyberspace trailer.
And let's head back in here. God. Those sound effects. Can I do anything with a printer? Not yet. Okay, but I will. Let's see if we can do a little vandalism here.
Excellent guess, Crest.
Okay, so that's not what we need to do.
Next.
We need to change this number somehow, so that it does what we want it to do. Oh, yeah, there we go. I just clicked in the wrong spot. There we go. Now let's talk to Sys Inny.
Does your number match the one shown by the counter?
As a matter of fact, I do possess that number. Read it and weep, Pixel Woman.
Oh no, you can't possibly. Oh. Well, I guess you're right.
You bet your palate, little 32 by 32 pixel mama.
Hey, we made it to the file room. Okay, so here we are in the file room.
Massive file cabinets stretch off into the distance. This should be a cinch.
Alright, so we want to look up the file on Nigel Rancid. So let's head down here to the R's. There are tons of file cabinets here, and I'm not sure how they're supposed to, like how you're supposed to know which ones to open. but I do know a handy way of telling which ones you're supposed to open. Again, I'm not sure if this is intentional or not, but if you look at the side of the file cabinet, there's a 2-pixel width here compared to these, which are only a single pixel. And that is an indicator, because of that extra thickness, that this door can actually open. Again, I'm not sure if that was done intentionally to kind of call it out, so that you would see exactly what you need to see just by looking at it rather than testing every file. That could very well be intentional, but one way or another, it's a very handy way of knowing, because there's tons of file cabinets here. There's a lot of them that look like they should open, but they wouldn't. So anyway, we have a few R's here. Walk to the end of this row. Looks like we've got about 4 columns worth of R's. So as you can see, we can't open any of these.
That file apparently doesn't want to open.
They are all stuck.
That file apparently...
But there's one up here that we can open. Now, how do we get to this R file, you ask? Well, quite simply, we follow the thick pixels. Please do not try this at home. God, somebody who has worked with office furniture for a long time, you do not ever want to step on the drawers. Oh my god, this is such a terrible idea. But it's an adventure game. Terrible ideas is what we do. So let's check out this file cabinet. Okay, so we have rattlesnakes, rats, Grigory Rasputin, raspberries, Jeanette Rankin, Randolph Macon WC, Ayn Rand, and finally, Nigel Rancid. Nigel Rancid and his brother Sigint are hired thugs. Most recently, the Rancid brothers have been employed by Dr. Hayden Beleauxs and Sharpay of the Golden Light Years Retirement Community on Delta Berxalon 5. Cross-reference Beleauxs, Sharpay, and Santiago. Very interesting. So that proves that Sharpay hired those 2 thugs, presumably to take us out. So we can check out a few different places now. We can check out the file on Sharpay, the file on Stellar Santiago, or the file on Dr. Beleauxs. But first I'm going to show you a little bit of an Easter egg here. There's one more file that we don't know about yet, but we can access a little bit early. As you can tell by the thicker borders here, these all will come out. And I can't remember if I found this as a kid because I looked in the hint book or because I could just tell by the way the files looked, but I definitely found this and I've always loved this.
Now, what have we here? You haven't found the clue to this file's existence, yet somehow you know. Perhaps subtracting a few 100 points from your score will teach you. Cheaters never prosper.
So we'll come back to this one in a little bit once we've found it for real. Let's do this the right way. So let's start with Dr. Beleauxs. We'll go in alphabetical order from what we know. And the B file that we can open is right here. Brendan Bahan, Behavioral Sciences, Baderbeck Bix, or Bix Baderbeck, Beirut Lebanon, David Belasco, Dr. H. Beleauxs, Vissarion Belinsky, and Ralph Bellamy. Check out the file on Dr. Beleauxs. Dr. Hayden Beleauxs is the Chief Medical Administrator of the Golden Light Years Retirement Community. He has gained much notoriety over his controversial efforts to mitigate the effects of, and some say to altogether eliminate, aging. Cross-reference Sharpay and Santiago. Interesting. Well, let's check those out. Let's see here. We can open up this one. San Francisco, Margaret Sanger, Sans Culottes, Sanssouci, Santa Claus, George Santayana, Santiago Chile, and Santiago Stellar. Corman Stellar Santiago was a member of the Starcon fleet before her departure from this world while attempting to rescue a janitor second class who was stationed aboard SCS Deep Ship 86. So this file is a lie. Let's check out this S file and see what we can learn. Oh, this is another one that we have to walk up, okay? All right, Omar Sharif, Sharpay, Irwin Shaw, Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen, Sheep, Alan Sherman, and William T. Sherman. Let's check out the file on Sharpay. A philanthropist of the First Order, this benefactress of many good causes is known throughout the universe simply as Sharpay. Sharpay's most recent project has been the Golden Light Years Retirement Community on Delta Berxalon 5, where she hopes to spend her declining years. Always thinking of others, this grand lady will leave a legacy of charitable works behind her when she goes. Cross-reference, Beleauxs, Santiago. Additional cross-reference, Project Immortality. And that is the P file that we were not supposed to know about. Secrets of the universe that they don't want you to know. So let's head back over here and check out this Project Immortality file. That's the first we've heard of this. Hey, who closed all these? Product liability, Project Immortality, Prokofiev, Prometheus, Pronghorn, Propaganda, Propeller Heads, and Prostate. Project Immortality it is. The Holy Grail of narcissists everywhere. Project Immortality is the cold, hard scientific name applied to the cold, hard science that is the fountain of youth of our times. Project Immortality is funded by Sharpay and overseen by controversial Dr. Hayden Beleauxs. It promises humankind the hope of the ages, eternal life. Sure makes marriage a scary proposition though, doesn't it? Ugh. Cross-reference Endgame. Endgame, huh? What is Endgame? Aside from, you know, the end of the game, which we are rapidly approaching. No, I shouldn't say rapidly. We still have a pretty meaty section yet to go. Meaty is a pun. Because it's full of meat. What is this endgame file? Oh, does it not actually exist? Okay, I got trolled. There is no endgame file. This is a game end. No, there's not. Of course there's not. I guess we're just supposed to cross-reference the end of the game. Fine. Well, we have everything that we need to know at least. Well, we can't take these out of us, or out of cyberspace, so we're going to need to print them off. Luckily, there's a printer right here.
The cyber printer accepts your cyber file gratefully and begins to print. The question is, what exactly is the output of a cyber printer?
Well, a PDF. But I guess in this case, it's just a file. We're going to have to go through these one by one. Really? Okay, almost done.
Well, what do you know? Maybe there is something to this superhero reputation thing after all.
Of course there is.
And after that episode with the egg beater, I thought you'd never impress me again.
Is that because the egg beater was impressive? Or, like, was it the most impressive thing we've ever done? I'm going to go with that. All right, well, we have printed off all of the files that we found. Now, let's go confront Dr. Beleauxs. Oh, but first let's walk all the way back through the Information Superhighway. Wait, no, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. I just remembered. There's a better way. There's a much better way. With this board.
Bet you can't fit that thing in your pants. Guess I was wrong. It does fit. There must be plenty of spare room in there.
Yes, there's a board. We can just lay that across the gap. I was gonna say, I don't remember having to walk all the way through this damn place again.
You smartly drop the board in place, spanning the gap between the two bridge sections.
Nice. All right. Let's grab our printer output. And let's save as confrontation. And show them the goods.
Well, Dr. Beleauxs, I think you've got some explaining to do.
You're out of your mind, Wilco.
So, what do you have to say for yourself now, Doctor?
Confronted with the facts found in the files you located, he freaks and spills all.
Oh, my...
Eloquently stated.
I didn't think this all the way through until I'd crossed my own personal ethical line. I was already... It had already gone too far. The experiments alone... I thought I could do just this one thing and still live with myself. Love can move a person to do some strange things, Wilco. She knew how I felt and used it to her advantage.
I think I know what you mean about that love thing, but wait a minute. Slow down. Are you saying you have the hots for... I mean, you are actually romantically intrigued by Sharpay? Wow. You are serious. I agree that love can make you do some weird stuff. In this case, though, it made you do some stuff that was unethical and illegal, Doctor. Where is Stellar Santiago? I know she was alive, that her death was faked. What have you done with her?
Great Caesar's ghost. The woman, she's still alive, but I'm afraid not much time remains.
She is? What do you mean, not much time remains?
As you must realize by now, the Golden Light Years project was merely a front for the research I'd been conducting per Sharpay's wishes. She is intensely fearful of death. You probably didn't notice that she is getting up in age a bit.
Yeah, who could have guessed that?
In very simple terms, Janitor Wilco.
That's janitor second class, pal. And don't you forget it.
Excuse me, Janitor second class. As I was saying, Sharpay feared dying, enough to take the lives of others to save her own. She knew I loved her. I remember the day I met her. It was at the funeral of... oh, I believe it was her fourth husband, and I remember never having seen her look so radiant. I fell for her, hard, and she knew it. You should have seen her in black.
I'll pass, thanks. Just tell me about Stellar.
Okay, the bottom line is that I have developed a way to extend Sharpay's life by transferring her mental essence into the body of another. It was to be you until your friend Stellar Santiago got in the way. We thought no one would miss you. Go figure. What I have done is to employ nanotechnology to take over the designated host body, as is happening with your friend as we speak.
Always nanomachines.
Stellar's body is being taken over by Sharpay? Jeez, I don't understand. Is there anything we could do to stop it?
I've never really thought of it that way.
Well, think about it now. We have to save Stellar. You can't let her die. You can redeem yourself at least to some degree, Doc.
As much as it pains me to admit it, you're right, Roger. You're right. Okay, I think I may have a plan. We can save her. There are some interesting spin-off technological breakthroughs. I'm going to send you in to stop Sharpay.
Say what? No, I don't think...
It's her only chance. If you seriously care for your friend, you'll do this.
Oh, the only way, huh?
The only way.
Well, okay then. I hope you're sure about this.
I'm positive. Here's how we shall go about it. You will move your shuttle into Lab B. Meanwhile, I will generate new software for your shuttle's navigational system, which will help you locate the nanites, the very small robotic devices I developed for the intrusion. One of them is Sharpay. If you can stop Sharpay, well, your friend's chances of survival improve immensely. Then, once I have located and extracted you, I shall work to repair whatever damage may have been done to Stellar during the attempted incursion.
The shuttle is nicely miniaturized by the beam deal. Hopefully, it is reversible. Perhaps you should have asked about that. There are some things you can't afford to have smaller.
And now we know why the working title for Space Quest 6 was Where in Corman Santiago is Roger Wilco? Well, this is certainly an interesting turn of events. We find ourselves inserted into Stellar's body, and we have to find the nanomachine representative of Sharpay and destroy her once and for all. This is going to be one hell of an endgame. It has been many, many years since I've been to this point, and I remember certain things, but not everything. So in our next part, which I believe will be the final part, I'm going to try to get through the rest of the game in part 5. We're going to meet a tapeworm. We're going to meet some nanobots, and we're going to do some pretty crazy things with biology. Anyway, I hope you'll join me for that, and I hope that you're enjoying this so far. Thank you very much for your support and your patronage. It is very much appreciated. Until we meet again, remember to save early and save often. And yes, that means you. Save early. Save often. And hey, you take care of yourself.